Whoop, whoop. What's up, family? eCussionist here, bringing you another edition of free lessons for all ages and all levels, brought to you by NGO Radio Terra on their YouTube channel. We're here every single Wednesday, or at least I am here every Wednesday at 4 p.m., bringing you some ideas, some concepts that I've honed over the course of my 30-plus year career. I want to give a big shout out before I forget to Roland Corporation, Tamboro Drums, Proel, Icon Microphones. You guys really help us out, and we couldn't do this segment every single week, multiple trimesters a year without you. Thank you so much for having us. And like I said, this is the second trimester of 2025. This is lesson number 9, which means that we are 2/3 of the way through. And I am just extremely excited about what we're doing here with this particular program, bringing you nothing but the best and the finest drumming and ideas that we can. Let's get into today. We're talking about chops, soloing. We're talking about fills and when to do them, how to incorporate them into the music, right? Because it's not just all about one long fill, unless it is, right? Because in music, there's no absolutes. It's just about what's the best choice for the moment. And I find that sometimes the best choice for the moment is just a crash cymbal on 1. Sometimes the best choice for the moment is a fill every 8 bars on the 8th bar. Let me give you some examples. So I'm going to warm up a little bit before I get into it. Just do a tone check. So this is the groove, right? This is the fill. Or I could do it every 4 bars. Count it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, right? So it's not always just, a big fill that deviates away from the main idea, so much as it is maybe just taking one hand and putting it on another drum. Right? Instead of keeping it on the cymbal, put it on the toms or the snare or the cowbell. Trying to give you an example that we're going to keep this groove going, and then anytime we need to spice it up, we can add a fill, but the fill doesn't always have to be super big. It can be, but it can also be more subtle. Some of the rudiments that I'm using to make these fills and these solos happen are the single stroke roll, the double stroke roll, Then we have the triplet, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? As opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Two different ways of expressing the groove. So we can make our groove counted in 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the fill be counted in 3. So 1, 2, so 1 E and a 2 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we can superimpose the 3 over the 4, and that can create kind of a cool little rhythmic texture that almost responds like a fill, right? All the while I'm just doing 2 and 4 on the snare, 1 and 3 on the bass drum. And then sometimes we can get into a solo and we use all 3 of these different rudiments, right? Doubles, singles, triplets, and then there's the paradiddle. Double paradiddle, triple paradiddle. And then when we put them all together and use them in a solo, it can be like this. So we can do a solo like that, or we can make it every 4 bars we'll just play a bit of a solo, a small solo. So like this. There's some fills that are so famous that we can keep on quoting them in our drumming all the time. Take Michael Jackson's Rock With You intro fill. Also, Michael Jackson's Wanna Be Starting Something, right? What else is another fill that people always quote? Get the point. You can really just take that fill and then loop it and it turns into a groove, but it's sort of a solo. And either way, even if you don't play that in a musical context, because that is a very like cumbersome and rigid example, but it just shows you that by me taking my right hand and my left hand and switching them up but playing the same rhythm, you can derive a lot of new sounds. All right, and it's not about how many different hundreds of things that you can play one time. It's about how many different ways you can play one thing, right? So let me show you some different chops that I like to employ. This is doubles between your hand and your foot, but it can be useful and it is flashy and it works on a crowd. All right, you can do different permutations of that. Another one is to just use the paradiddle in different ways. Something that came to mind, and this is something I'm going to take a quick departure away from what I was talking about, and just talking about dynamics and talk about space. Fills, solos, and chops, they're not just always about filling up the space so much as it is about giving open more space to other musicians into the air, because your chop will sound twice as impactful if you add some cool space in or around it. I guarantee it. Okay, back to some other cool chops that I like to use. Let's see here. Right, left, left, right, right, left, right, kick, kick. Right? So this chop right here is kind of a triplet bass chop, and it involves some singles and doubles. So it's right, left, right, kick, kick. Right, left, right, kick, kick. So I like that chop a lot. Yeah, I just want to emphasize that in the midst of all this choppage and of all this, grooving, and I just want to emphasize that it's all about the groove, and all of the chops that you play are just going to accent the groove, and really how can I say this? The chops that we play enhance the groove. They enhance the music. They should always support the groove, and I think not the other way around. So let's just leave that there. Cool, so let's review. We've got the single stroke fills. Double stroke fills. Then you've got the triplet fills. Then you've got paradiddles as fills. Right? And then, of course, you got that. Something else that I want to talk about regarding fills is that when you're playing the groove, how you lay the fill is everything. Sometimes we have a tendency to rush the idea or drag the idea, so try and be mindful not to rush the fill, all right? Lay it in the pocket. Helps to keep a swinging feel inside of your 8th notes and your 16th notes. So instead of it being Keeping it kind of human and keeping it in the cracks allows for you to widen your time space. It allows for you to widen your feel. The quarter note pulse that you immediately project widens when you play in the cracks like that. So I hope that this makes sense. We covered a lot of ground. We covered some things about how rudiments play into this. I emphasize the fact that this is all very circumstantial, and the types of fills that you play are all very much based on the genre. You're not going to play jazz fills on a rock gig and vice versa. We want to make sure that we're being true to the music that we're serving. All right? So again, this is about fills, chops, solos. Ultimately, what makes your chops and your fills and your solos so cool is your groove. And in the law of opposites, that is exactly the way it is. It is the yin and the yang. As above, so as below. However tight your groove is however dope your fills are. So make sure that you keep that in mind. Groove first, fills decorate the groove first, and the fills decorate everything else.